Secretary Silva, please call the next item.
Directors, that places you on item number 14, approving a roadway shared spaces street closure application for Hay Street between Gough and Octavia Streets, 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. each Friday and 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. each Saturday from Friday, November 28, 2025 through Saturday, November 28, 2026. The application from the Hayes Valley Neighborhood Association is for a roadway shared spaces permit to close Hay Street between Gough and Octavia Streets, 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. each Friday and 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. each Saturday and Sunday from November 28, 2025 through November 28, 2026.
Good evening. Can you hear me okay? Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Thank you for having me. My name is Monica Munowich. I manage San Francisco Shared Spaces Program, and I'm here to present you all today on an application and request we received from the Hayes Valley Neighborhood Association to open the street to people on the 400 block of Hayes Friday, Saturday, and Sundays as a roadway shared space closure. So I'll first begin by talking a little bit about the history. This is one of our longest street closures, history, and in particular how the last year has been operating before discussing more of the specifics regarding the application that's in front of you today for your consideration. So shared spaces, again, these are opportunities where we reopen streets to people, restricting car traffic, to activate, to program, to bring communities together, to support small businesses, and enliven our streets and public realm in San Francisco. When they are recurring events, we permit them as shared spaces, different than special event street closures, which are more typically permitted through ISCOT, special events only. These are recurring either weekly or monthly in some cadence and frequency and are typically approved by ISCOT but only come to the MTA board when they exceed certain thresholds like transit impacts, traffic volume impacts, and thresholds for duration and frequency. So that's why this item is brought to you today. The location, if you're not familiar, it's I'll be referring to the 400 block of Hayes. That is in particular the block between Gough and Octavia. So right adjacent to Proxy is where the closure exists today and the request for next year. So some history. The closure I mentioned has existed for many years since the early days of the pandemic. It took many different sort of footprints and configurations and duration over that period, originally sponsored from the Hayes Valley Merchant Council in some combination with the Neighborhood Association over the years. At one point expanded beyond the 400 block to also include the 300 and 500 blocks, and at some point included Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. This was all when the 21 Hayes was suspended during the pandemic. But when the 21 Hayes was restored in summer 22, we continued to support the closure and accommodate it by rerouting Muni on the closure days. When the Shared Spaces pandemic program ended and the legislated permanent program began, that's when this board started seeing this request and this sort of process and configuration of coming to the board for approval. And so that first occurred in fall 23 when you all approved the first one-year permit for Fridays 4 to 10, Saturdays 1 to 10. And then again this time last year, the item was brought to you all and was approved for Fridays 4 to 10 and Saturdays 10 to 10. Since that time, other notable changes over the last year to mention are that the Muni service plan changed with the 21 Hayes and the 6 Hayes Parnassus line being combined into the 6 Hayes Parnassus line. And we've continued to support the roadway closure with that reroute. So I mentioned just before that, yes, this time last year, the application was brought to you all requesting Friday, Saturday, Sundays. What was permitted was the Friday 4 to 10, Saturday 10 to 10. And some of the rationale and discussion at this time last year was around really setting up the community for success and ensuring that they sort of are on top of their compliance with permit terms, ensure it's activated regularly, and kind of being mindful of some of the muni impacts as well as concerns and other needs in the corridor. So ultimately last year, what was approved was that compromise not extending to Sundays. I wanted to also briefly share some sales tax data that's been a primary interest and point of discussion over the years, and how is this activation and block closure supporting or not supporting the needs of the businesses. And while economic evaluation is not a core part of the shared spaces approval process, it's more of an operational analysis where we consider transit and transit impacts, roadway impacts, emergency access. We don't do economic analysis for any of our roadway closures. However, it is understandably a big component of them, and was able to find some readily available data on our city's treasurer tax collector website on sales tax, and pull some census blocks information for those directly along the closure area, the 400 block, as well as the 300 and 500. And notably wanted to report, it was interesting to see that the most recent data in 2023 did show along the whole corridor sales tax revenue higher than before the pandemic in 2019. Again, this is face value, a very quick one data point to have available and top of mind, and not an extensive economic analysis by any means, but really helpful indicators and information to report to you guys on. So the last year, to get in a little bit more detail, many of the successes we saw was, one, a lot more consistent activation, a lot more programming in various scopes and sizes on our Saturdays in particular, and I'll get back to that in a moment. Wanted to know much more improved compliance with barricades, especially in particular the blocking at Octavia and Goff on either end. The new configuration we had, which pushed out the cones, has really helped improve double parking and ensuring the space is clear. And another success is reiterating a lot of the neighborhood support we've heard, which discusses how valuable the space has been in bringing the community together, and as a town hall space, and many of the businesses in particular really benefiting from the additional foot traffic, as well as just the additional footprint and space to be able to extend beyond their business on the street. To try to quantify the activation more, this was a big part of our discussion at the board last year. How do you sort of measure and kind of track activation? We were able to look in a little bit more detail on just this last March and October, where we had more information available on the programming, and we're able to count of 70 permit days, so that's of 70 Friday, Saturdays, during that period, 45 we saw reported programming, with the majority of that on Saturdays. So 89% of Saturdays, we were able to find some amount of programming in various sort of light, medium, more heavy attended events, but a lot focused on Saturdays and some on Fridays. The Fridays have looked a little bit more organic. They've had some events and programming on those nights, but a lot of the days kind of to visualize look like this, where the people are enjoying the space more as extra foot traffic, extra space to get to and from events, concert events or restaurants, but not as heavily programmed, to lighter activations like kids games or maybe a booth or two, to like full activation, where they've had many examples, again, most of them on Saturdays, of events that draw a big crowd, like the Hayes Valley Carnival and the Doggy Farmers Markets and various concerts. So just to give a flavor on kind of the number and the type of activations we've seen in the last year. Challenges are notably, first and foremost, muni service. Obviously, the reroute is working, but it is some amount of impact to riders who are currently seeing the reroute on both Saturday and Sunday, even when the street is open to traffic on Sundays. That's because of the weekend service plan and how it's been configured. Though notably in February, totally separate from the shared space in this application, the service plan has changed and it will no longer be in the permanent service plan as a weekend reroute. It will be handled as a special event, and that means we have more flexibility to just reroute the bus when needed, when there's an event, when the street is closed. So that would enable us to reroute the bus only on a Saturday, for example, if the block were closed then, and not on a Sunday, for example, like it is now. Friday and Saturdays are together in the service plan. So just want to call out kind of what that looks like for our bus customers. Other impacts, we've had many businesses also indicate that it has been challenging for their business, the street closure itself. So just want to echo that, that we've heard. We've also had reported compliance documented over the year, and I know, Board, you've been copied on some of that correspondence, but to summarize here, we've been notified about some inconsistent staffing at their barricades. This is a requirement of the permit. Some amount of delivery scooters going through, and delivery scooters and mopeds going through the closure, and other permit conditions like parked vehicles, unpermitted clothing vendors, and a lack of posted permit. So these are some information that's been passed to us, and staff has been monitoring and communicating this to the permittee regularly, and have appreciated their responsiveness and sending regular photos as a result to show how they've made improvements and adjusted for the conditions. So, for example, recent weeks demonstrating that the permit has been posted, for example, as a result of us communicating that information to them. So to wrap this up, the next few slides kind of brings us to where we are today. This item was heard just last month, a couple weeks ago at ISCOT, as the first approval step for, again, the full ask, which is Fridays 4 to 10, Saturday 10 to 10, and Sunday 10 to 10. And at that meeting, we had a range of support and opposition. We received 235 emails in support from residents and visitors indicating how much they love the space and it's really fostered community and supported businesses. 6 letters in particular from businesses, and 21 people that spoke in support. And for opposition, we received 215 emails, with 7 of them from businesses, and noting just challenges to how it's affected their businesses and has divided the neighborhood, and again, concerns about some violations. And then we received 3 public comment in opposition at that meeting. So the conclusion of the ISCOT meeting was to recommend for the board for consideration approving the request for Fridays and Saturdays only. And for your action today and for consideration is to discuss and approve all a component of or denying Hayes Valley Neighborhood Association request to continue their closure for another year. And with that, I will take your questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Munowich. I would like to go ahead and open public comment before we move to questions. Public comment on this item is now open for 2 minutes each.
Members of the public wishing to provide comment will have 2 minutes each. There will be a warning sound at 30 seconds and a chime when the time is up. No need to all get up at this time. I am going to call speaker cards as I have them, and we will get through everybody that is here this evening. So I'll read some speaker cards. Cyrus Hall, Zach Lipton, Brian D., Ansley Padura.
All right, this is it, guys. This is my last comment for the day. Thank you for putting up with me. My name is Cyrus Hall, and I'm a member of the steering committee for Streets for All. I'm commenting for Streets for All this evening. Streets for All proudly endorses and supports the Hayes Promenade Shared Spaces Permit Renewal. Hayes Promenade is reimagining Hayes Street for Hayes Valley. This is an active process. This year has seen Hayes Promenade continue to refine their programs and processes with over 30 major events and 80 activations across roughly 100 days. Hayes Promenade has brought everything from dance lessons to doggies farmer markets full of local small businesses catering to man's best friend. But what can really bring joy are the buckets of chalk. Every weekend, kids and their parents can now make use of the space that used to be dangerous and inaccessible, offering a whole new canvas to draw on. And it's not just young kids, it's old kids. Every time my parents come to town, they ask to be taken to Hayes Promenade because they love dining on it. It's quiet, there's no cars zooming by. So we support the community's desire for a long-term planning effort to reimagine the street. And that can only happen with a permit extension. Let's continue this placemaking process that brings joy to so many. Please support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to just pause because it's come to my attention that Supervisor Mahmoud's aide, Raynell, is here, and I know you have, this is the middle of your workday, not to say that other people aren't taking time off from work, but
No.
Please.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll be quick. Thank you so much for that. And I actually do have there's a community meeting in 12 minutes, so this is actually very helpful. Hello, Chair Tarlov and Director Kirschbaum, directors. My name is Raynell Cooper, and I'm a legislative aide for Supervisor Mahmoud, staffing him on transportation as well as Hayes Valley-related topics. I want to start by thanking Director Kirschbaum for the kind words about Alice Wong. She's someone who meant a lot to the supervisor and someone who's had a massive impact on accessibility and disability advocacy in the city, so thank you for that. She will be missed. On this item, we support maintaining the existing Friday and Saturday Hayes Promenade activation, as this represents a compromise between the expansion requested in the application and those who wish to see the closure rolled back. We've heard support in the neighborhood from both residents and businesses for Hayes Promenade and have seen incredible progress from the sponsors on permit compliance and integrating programming into the space, including the recent African American Shakespeare Company anniversary and the recurring Doggy Farmers Market. We're also excited to see planters help green the space thanks to support from Civic Joy Fund and Proxy. As for the impact of the street closure on businesses, transit, and nearby streets, we are working with the SFCTA and Planning Department on a comprehensive study to understand and quantify the impact of the street closure and options for improving the space. Keeping the street closure as is in the interim will help with the data collection associated with this study, and the subsequent data will help inform future decision-making around the future of this space. We appreciate your support and look forward to collaborating more in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cooper. May I ask you, I'd love some more information about the study that you just mentioned.
Sure. Yes, yeah. It's the public life study. So we are still working on finalizing the scope, but it'll be led by the planning department. We want to take a look. It's funded through transportation funds. The primary focus will be on transportation, where we can take a look at pedestrian volumes and looking at traffic impacts. We'll be collaborating with SFMTA on using whatever data that they have as to help reduce the amount of load and work that will fall on the planners to get that data. We'll also be, as part of this study, getting a better understanding of the scope of what's going on with the bus rerouting and the options there in terms of permanent reroute and looking at those options as part of this. We also want to be able to explore what we can in terms of looking at the business impacts of the closure and of the activations as well.
Thank you. Any thought on, do you understand at this point what the timing will be around that?
Yeah, so we're planning on going to the Market Octavia CAC in December, and then having the funding finalized funding finalized by February. Our hope is that we can get some of that work started ahead of time, whatever we can do without the funding, and then we're targeting sometime around July or August for completion. But as that changes, we'll make sure to be in contact with you all and with SFMTA staff.
That's very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Let's continue with public comment. Thank you for your patience.
Next speaker, please.
Hello, my name is Tyler Bernstein. I'm a resident of Lower Nob Hill, District 3, and even though I do live in Lower Nob Hill, I do traverse all the way down to Hayes Valley to enjoy the promenade and the many activities and programming, and I really enjoy it, and I urge the board to extend the permit. And I will say also, I typically go for the promenade and then shop and enjoy like the food and drink at the like establishments on Hayes Street afterwards. So just want to say that I wouldn't go to Hayes Valley if not for the promenade on the weekends. Just want to throw that out. Also, Naya Dessert Cafe has delicious desserts that I go to after the promenade. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll read a few more speaker cards. Austin M., Juliana Keller, Kimberly Howley. Next speaker.
Hey, thanks for listening. Big transit nerd here, so this is cool. I've lived in Hayes Valley for almost 5 years and served as treasurer for the Neighborhood Association for 2. The Hayes Promenade is a wonderful community asset, contributing to making Hayes Valley a thriving neighborhood for both businesses and residents, especially when many of our neighborhoods have been struggling to bounce back after the pandemic. We all know SF is a very expensive place to live, and the Promenade is a wonderful free space for all people to play, connect, and recreate, regardless of income level. There's been line dancing, live music, art, and there's even a group that's been wanting to open up a farmer's market in that space to provide fresh produce for more in the neighborhood. We're so fortunate to have this space that can be used by all. In a city known for saying no, this is an easy yes to make San Francisco more livable, walkable, accessible, and vibrant. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hi, my name is Matt Conway. I am one of the owners of Brass Tacks and Anina, 2 bars right in the middle of the 400 block. I'm in Hayes Valley every day, and I'm there for the street closures every Friday and Saturday. I'm one of the people that helped set up the barricade on Octavia Street, and we have seen, our bars have been there since 2013, so obviously we've seen a lot of changes in Hayes Valley, not the least of which was, COVID, obviously, and what from not just a business operator, but just someone who's in the neighborhood all the time. These closures, and especially the programming, which has really ramped up recently, have really helped breathe a lot of life back into that neighborhood. It's great for our business. I think it's great for most of the businesses on the block. I mean, obviously, there's a couple fewer parking spaces, but Hayes Valley is awful to park in anyway. But what it does is brings lots of other people to the neighborhood, brings a lot of people who live in the neighborhood out into the street to get to know one another. And it really has fostered community and full support. Please approve. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good afternoon again, here in full support of the Hayes Promenade. This is exactly the kind of project that's central to Mayor Lurie's economic revitalization agenda. It's transformed the Hayes commercial corridor into a destination and a lively public space where it's fun to go, meet friends, stay, and yes, spend money at so many great small businesses. It's been amazing. Where else do you go out to dinner and there's just line dancing and joy in the community? And I'd point out that MTA operates a quite large garage just around the corner from here, offering parking for all. But I have to say it's frustrating. The city asks so much, honestly too much, of citizens who are trying to make San Francisco a better place. We can always have a civil debate on the best ways to do that, but I've seen people like Andrew and the whole neighborhood association team here volunteer just thousands of hours to their time to our community on this. And I applaud that, and honestly, this agency should be applauding that too. The city should be helping to build on their success with longer-term improvements that make Hayes an outstanding destination. Instead, I see them getting dragged through this process. This is the second public hearing in a month on just this renewal. Why are we treating this as, quote, their closure and nitpicking the details of how the permit is publicly posted, when really it should be our public space and the city, with people whose job it is to create thriving public spaces, actually working with them and helping to make it amazing. So, yes, I ask that you please renew this permit for all 3 days, but let's go further and affirmatively help make it better. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good afternoon, directors. My name is Kimberly Howley, and I have lived in San Francisco for over a dozen years. I'm here because I love San Francisco. We are all here because we love San Francisco. And San Francisco is most lovable to me when I am seeing my neighbors sharing space and joy. And that is what I have seen countless times on the Hayes Promenade. Actually, we just learned that it's not countless. We heard so many statistics earlier about the 45 activations in 70 days. We heard about the quantified economic impact. This is a beautiful opportunity, and I am asking you to please renew this permit as is for all 3 days to bring this joy to our city that we love. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good afternoon, directors. My name is David Robinson. I'm a homeowner in the Hayes Valley neighborhood, and I'm the president of the Hayes Valley Neighborhood Association. Thank you for considering the extension of the permit for the Hayes Valley shared space on the 400 block of Hayes Street. Since 2020, as mentioned, this program has expanded our town square, complementing nearby Patricia's Green and Proxy, to become a focal point of our neighborhood. Neighbors and visitors alike have enjoyed countless hours in this space, most notably for events like the doggy farmers markets, line dancing, art walks, music by groups like the San Francisco Conservatory of Music, and our famous Hayes Valley Carnival, and coming up in a couple weeks on Friday, December 5th, our annual holiday stroll. In addition, pending your thoughtful approval today, we're in conversation with the Pacific Coast Farmers Market Association to host recurring Saturday farmers markets on the Promenade, something that will bring even more visitors and business to our neighborhood. Just this year alone, we hosted 27 major events and 76 activations over 45 days. For the last 5 years, on Friday nights and Saturdays, children played safely, neighbors and visitors gathered, danced and shopped, and artists and musicians performed. It has been a model for what a city's streets can be: safe, vibrant, and people-centered. It supports local businesses by bringing steady foot traffic and outdoor dining to our neighborhood. It strengthens community bonds through cultural programming and neighborhood collaboration. Speaking on behalf of the board of Hayes Valley Neighborhood Association and an overwhelming majority of our residents and members, and with the unanimous approval from ISCOT, we ask that you please consider continuing the shared space program on Hayes Street. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hey, hello. My name is John Farkas. I'm a Hayes Valley resident, and I'll keep it short and sweet. The Promenade is such a gem. It's an oasis of calm in a very busy and heavily trafficked area, so I ask for your full support. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hi, all. My name is Lila Holzman. I've been in San Francisco about 10 years and recently was lucky enough to become a homeowner in District 5, just a few blocks north of Hayes Valley. I do not have a car and really love areas that are more walkable and think that's something we should be prioritizing. I think that creating this shared space has been really good for our community. It's good for climate change. It's good for sustainability. I've participated in the trash cleanups on Saturday mornings, and it's just really delightful to have this space on the weekends, and hope you continue it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good evening, directors. My name is Fiona Yim, and I would like to share Walk SF's strong support for renewing the Hayes Street roadway shared space permit. In a city where an average of 3 people are hit every day while walking, having significant safe spaces for pedestrians without the threat of dangerous traffic is crucial. Hayes Promenade, a protected pedestrian space, has become an essential part of the Hayes Valley neighborhood, providing a safe, welcoming place for people of all backgrounds to walk, gather, and play. It is incredibly successful and has built an even stronger sense of community in this neighborhood. Spaces like Hayes Promenade show the power of repurposing streets to support safety, people, joy, and connection. Please renew the Hayes Street roadway shared space permit in support of a safer, more vibrant Hayes Valley neighborhood and entire city. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
I'm Harold, and I live in Nob Hill, but I go all over the city. Back before our culture took over, our streets were for everyone. This one returns us to a vibrant, inclusive past. It is now valuable community space. experimentally devoting our cities to cars was a devastating failure. Like this morning, somebody drove into an occupied hotel room. That happens all the time. We shouldn't let it happen, but we do. And not only this single block here, for limited times, on a couple of days, we should learn from this. Change here and the rest of the city. We could continue moving into a brighter future. The well-being of the city people is in your hands. Do the right thing.
Thank you. Next speaker. I'll read a few more cards. Jess Jenkins, Dan Waits, Sarah Buchek.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ajay. Live in Hayes Valley. I was here last year, actually, for this exact same thing. So thank you all for approving it last year. My friends and I have had like a ton of fun since then. There's been just like a ton of really random, silly, fun events. There was like this one person that brought just like a tub of soap and was making these giant bubbles in the middle of the street. Thought that was pretty cool. I was also like, one day I was just like walking back from Alamo Square, and there was someone selling like pieces of the Golden Gate Bridge on the street, which I thought was just like the coolest thing ever. It's like no other city in the world this could happen. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm also, by the way, planning to get a car, and I still would like totally love to have like car-free Hayes. Like I'm not going to be like driving back and forth just on that one street, obviously. And fun fact, the reason I decided to get a car is because I walked past the Rivian showroom so many times, and I just like fell for their marketing. But yeah, it's Hayes Promenade.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hi, my name is Andrew Signer, HVNA's representative on the permit. Obviously asking for you to support and renew our permit. It was a big year, 30 major events, 80 smaller activations, all thanks to a small army of volunteers. Many of them are here today. Cities all over the world are doing this, not just the obvious ones like Paris and Barcelona, like Castro Street in Mountain View, State Street in Santa Barbara. Ventura just voted to pedestrianize Main Street. We think this is an ideal place to do that. It's right in the middle of the city, 3 blocks from here. It's a dense, transit-rich neighborhood. More than half of all households do not have a car. We see this space as part of a network connecting Hayes to the Golden Gate Greenway, to the Buchanan Mall, to Page Slow Street. All of these places are hubs for calm from traffic, safety, and joy. So please vote to renew. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hi, good evening. My name is Bonnie Wong. I've been living at the cusp of Hayes and Western Addition, and for the many, many years I lived there, I was always told never to go to Hayes as a kid. It was dangerous back in the days. As now I got older, and taking care of my mother right now with dementia, since we found out about the closure, it was nice to take my mom out somewhere not too far, but in the neighborhood where she's familiar with, to be able to walk freely and enjoy and see everything in her unfortunate state. I'm also one of the people that have started to bring the doggy farmers market to the neighborhood. I noticed there's no pet store, but lots of pets, all sorts, even a cockatoo, which was really cool. And wanted to bring something to make people happy, help the neighborhood, the community to grow, to strive. So I please hope you renew this so that we could continue for another year and maybe more. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good afternoon. My name is Daniel, and I'm asking you to please support the renewal of this permit. I've lived in Hayes Valley for the last 12 years. I have 2 dogs, and I frequent the doggy farmers market as well. I'm usually there Monday through Sunday, and over the weekend for Friday and Saturday, it's just a nice respite from cars to not be having to dodge them all the time in that area, because people will tend to not be as respectful of the stop signs that are there, or they're in a rush to go someplace else. Thank you for hearing all of our comments.
Thank you. Next speaker. I'm going to read a few more names: Lloyd, Silverstein, Trent, Barry, Anthony, Healy, London.
Hi, my name is Sarah Bucher. I've lived in Hayes Valley since the mid-90s, so I was around when we were pulling down the freeway. And I see the Hayes Promenade as a continuation of the promise of removing the freeway for our neighborhood. It's a very busy area still with lots of cars, but we do have this one spot where we can have quiet, safe places for kids to roller skate and ride bikes and play with chalk and play with bubbles. We need these open spaces to have an opportunity to connect with our neighbors, and the Promenade provides that for Hayes Valley. And I really think that it's would be better to permit for the entire weekend, because a predictable schedule gives motorists, public transit users, and the community a more predictable experience, so they're not surprised when, oh, I can't turn here today. If it's always the same, then it's always the same, and people will be able to accommodate that. So thank you for hearing our comments, and we look forward to the approval of the permit.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hi, my name is Noelle. I live in Noe Valley, a District 5 resident. I'm a Master in City Planning student at UC Berkeley and have been working with the Hayes Valley community to conduct urban design and public study research. My collaborators and I have conducted more than 40 surveys across the space on different days, events, and we have interviewed Hayes Valley residents, other San Francisco residents, and even visitors from far and wide across the Bay who are enjoying this unique public space that truly can only be found in a city like San Francisco. While conducting our study, we realized there was one component to this space we could not quantify: the increase of quality of life for local residents. We saw a stark contrast in how the space was used and how opening up just one block in a city can provide so much community and joy across age and gender. I understand as a public transportation agency, these qualities may be difficult to put down on paper, but I encourage you all to visit the space and experience the unquantifiable aspect of community and quality of life that a few cones and diligent neighbors such as Andrew have provided. I've seen San Francisco through many economic and cultural changes over the years, but the Promenade is a glowing example of what the city is truly about. City governments should be assisting in codifying a project with this much community support, labor, and local partnerships. My colleagues and I are happy to share our research with the city or to supplement the upcoming San Francisco Public Life Study and the continuance of the Hayes Promenade. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hello, my name is Ian. I live in the neighborhood. I'm a big supporter of Hayes Promenade for all the reasons others have shared. I won't rehash them, but I wanted to bring up a larger point. I think it's really remarkable how much this program has achieved through the unpaid work of volunteers and merchants and with very little funding. Last year, Director Heminger brought up a good question at this meeting, which was how to make this program no longer require yearly board approval. I hope the SFMTA really considers that question. Anything you can do to eliminate work that is equivalent to treading water for volunteers and provide a solid foundation will mean that more of that effort can go towards the things that people love about Hayes Promenade. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hello again, Dylan Fabris, talking for myself on this item as a neighbor. I urge you to support all 3 days of the permit. It's, as everyone said, it's an amazing space, and honestly for me, it is often what makes me decide to go to Hayes Valley rather than down Polk Street, even though my wallet would probably prefer going down Polk Street. It's amazing, even when the space is not activated, to see how many people are in the street taking up that space. Like people wouldn't fit on the sidewalk. You look at those photos of everyone on the street. It just makes sense. Second, the calls to make this easier for future years. Also, second, the concerns potentially about confusion for transportation in the area if it is only Friday and Saturday. I think it just makes sense. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Let's do it. Let's figure out a permanent solution for rerouting the 6. And I think there would be plenty of transportation and transit advocates who would be happy to help weigh in on that and make sure that's done well. So please approve the permit. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Last time I promised today. Griffin Lee, Connected SF staff representing High 5 D5, our local district group. I want to start by stating the sales tax data is questionable because a Chronicle article on October 17th, 2025 showed in the Hayes Valley area roughly a 10% or more decrease over time from January to June of 2019, from January 2025 to June of 2025, inflation adjusted. It's the Chronicle. They published it. And I know Hayes Valley might be more than just Hayes Street, but to back this up a little bit, I've walked the corridor twice. And I'll tell you the overall sentiment. Restaurants, I think, do appreciate the weekend closure, but the non-restaurant merchants do not. And if you do pass this, I wouldn't go any further because we saw what happened with the Great Highway, and it could lead to something like this again. Lastly, small business Miete cited they were moving to a different neighborhood during the end of summer this year, citing lack of foot traffic and unhealthy conditions. We've seen in similar scenarios where you close streets, conditions have gotten worse. So I wouldn't go farther than this permit, but I would personally and on behalf of our members oppose it outright. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hi, directors. Thank you very much for your time. Trent Berry, a 28-year resident of Hayes Valley, and for 14 of those years, I have run the unofficial Hayes Valley Facebook page, which now boasts almost 2,000 members. If I may be so bold, the overwhelming sentiment from the overwhelming majority of those members on that page supports pedestrianization and certainly supports the continuance of this promenade. So I certainly would like to advocate for the temperature of the room in the community. And one last thing I'd like to bring up. At this point, the promenade doesn't simply enjoy a neighborhood reputation. It enjoys a citywide reputation, even a national reputation, and an international reputation. I spend a lot of time in New York for work. People there love this. And when I say, where do I live? They know things like the H or the Mission, but once I localize it, they go, oh, that park, that place where they close it down with the chalk for the kids. They know. I've gotten pictures from Switzerland, from the north of France, people wearing Hayes Valley swag because they want to be in solidarity with the pedestrianization and promenades that they enjoy on a regular basis. So I want to certainly stress that point as well. So for every reason, not just for Hayes Valley, but for the city, yes. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good evening. Lloyd Silverstein, Hayes Valley merchant. I just want to correct Trent. This is not a national thing. This is actually international. 3 years ago, Time Out magazine, a digital travel magazine, listed the 33 coolest streets in the world. Hayes Street was number 10, and I didn't pay to have that happen. I was the founder and former president of the Hayes Valley Merchants Council, but I'm speaking today as a business. I have some prepared notes, but it's almost fitting that I'm almost the last to speak here because 8 years ago when I came to Hayes Valley after moving my 3-generation, 106-year-old then business to Hayes Valley, I put forth the idea of a full pedestrianization of our community. That was considered pretty outlandish at the time. Well, here we are 8 years later. Andrew and so many other members of our community have really put this idea forth. And I can tell you as a business owner, it has profoundly helped my business. I'm on Linden, about a block off of Hayes. Every time we have an activization, our business picks up. We track our traffic, foot traffic. We track our conversion. It truly helps. So I would love to see you approve this actually for all 3 days. I'd love to put forth the idea that we do this 24/7 days a week. So whatever I can do to help Andrew, I'm going to continue to do. It's been wonderful for my business, and I really encourage you to support this. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good evening. My name is Anthony Healy-London. You heard from my business partner earlier. I'm also one of the owners of Brass Tacks and Anina on the 400 block of Hayes Street. I've been a small business owner in San Francisco for 20 years, in Hayes Valley for 14 years. We're open 365 days a year, give or take a day, for 10 to 14 hours a day. We speak to hundreds of people a day, thousands every week. And what's clear to me is that the closure is best for the most people, residents, merchants, people outside the city, visitors. I believe it helps businesses, and I feel that even if that's called into question by some other businesses, I think that it's still for the greater good. I'm also a driver. I drive a big truck. I live in the Sunset. I park it in Hayes Valley 7 days a week. It's hard, but not that big a deal. I think that it's really an easy approval, and I hope that you guys see the same way. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
I gotcha. There we go. Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to move the mic over here so I can talk and do visuals at the same time. Members of the board, Chair Tarlov, my name is Brian. I'm a Hayes Valley resident. Specifically, I live on Grove Street. Grove Street is 1 block north of Hayes Promenade. When Hayes is a promenade, car traffic redirects onto my block right under my bedroom window. You may think I'm here to complain. I'm not. I love the promenade. I live in Hayes Valley. I signed up for traffic when I signed my lease. The rest of the city treats my neighborhood like an on-ramp to the Central Freeway, and whether there's going to be a promenade or not, I'm going to have cars underneath my window. I'd rather have the promenade. Okay, continuing. On a nice day, Patricia's Green and Proxy are full. Every bench is occupied, and the grass is packed with dogs. That's great, but people need more space to exist and spread out, and they need more space for joyous activities that take up more space, like pet markets, line dancing, chalk art, yard games, live music, art walks. Every day on the promenade, I see parents stopping during walks to let their kids chalk in the street. I see restaurant goers stopping for a short game of cornhole. I see 20-somethings line dancing, myself included. And I see older couples on their way to the symphony pausing to see if they still got it. I see wheelchair users using the smooth asphalt instead of the narrow sidewalks filled with tables. I see couples on dates stopping to draw hearts on the road. Each of these little interactions are so valuable, they compound, and they give so much more to our community than when that space is reserved for a couple dozen cars. Having this space on a regular weekly basis strengthens existing events like the Hayes Valley Carnival and the Pet Parade, and lets our community hold events on short notice like our Remembrance of Life from Marlena, or capitalize on nearby events like the Civic Center protests. Neighbors going about their daily lives and visitors passing through did not used to fill Hayes Valley with chalk dust doodles, but they do now, and I hope you vote to let them continue to do so into the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
I'm also going to leave this here for these other speakers. They gave me their consent.
How do I even top that? All right. Hello, and good evening, directors. My name is Ainsley. I'm a resident of D2. I'm here to express my support for the renewal of the roadway shared spaces permit. Although I do not reside in Hayes Valley, I frequently visit the neighborhood due to the long-standing shared space. Over the course of the past year, I myself have had the opportunity to volunteer with organizers. I firsthand have witnessed the public partaking in a weekly rotating program catering to people of all backgrounds. To that end, I'd like to acknowledge the numerous contributions from various organizations, including HVMC and HVNA, even HV Safe, who help ensure the orange pylons are properly aligned. Finally, this space wouldn't be what it is without all the vendors, artists, performers, foursquares, line dancers, and cornholers who have invested their time in helping transform Hayes Valley into a vibrant and welcoming space. I'm looking forward to the approval of the permit renewal, allowing the shared space to continue operating in Hayes Valley. Thank you again for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good evening, Chair and Board. My name is Austin. I'm a resident of D6, very near Hayes Valley, and I have enjoyed experiencing this space a lot over the past year and change, both attending and volunteering with organizations that make it happen. one of the things that I think is really spectacular about this is that not only are there a lot of free programming opportunities for members of the city, but this really helps build habits that transition into actual spending of money. As an example, I've started line dancing in Hayes Valley. I now go occasionally to establishments in other parts of the city to line dance there as well. I used to go to a lot of live shows and stopped when I moved to the city because they were expensive. I now see live music in Hayes Valley monthly and have been to one, and I'm going to a second show this year that I would not have done so if I hadn't gotten in the habit of seeing live music again. These benefits expand these aren't just benefits to the businesses in Hayes Valley, which I patronize when I'm there, but also to businesses throughout the rest of the city that help drive the liveliness of San Francisco. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker.
May I have the visuals on the screen? Thank you. Hello, my name is Juliana, and I am here to support the renewal of the Hayes Street Shared Space Permit. Hayes Street is always busy, and right now we get the chance to choose what kind of busy it is for 18 to 30 hours of each week. We can have cars rushing toward the freeway busy, or we can have people gathering, shopping, dancing, eating busy. Some don't want this closure because they find it inconvenient. If we ran San Francisco on the rule that no one should ever be slightly inconvenienced, we wouldn't have farmers markets, outdoor dining, festivals, or block parties, so many of the things that make our city so special. I do not live in the area. I live in District 2. I initially came to Hayes Promenade by way of line dancing, and I'm so glad to have had the excuse to explore the neighborhood and meet new people by dancing outside instead of in dark marina bars. Truthfully, I had never understood the appeal of the Hayes Valley area before I experienced this closure. I had a friend who lived in the neighborhood for a couple of years and always suggested that we meet elsewhere. Having had the chance to explore during these closures, it is now one of my favorite spots in the city. So I'm asking you to renew this permit and keep the Hayes Street a place people want to be, not a place they can't wait to leave. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Okay. My name's Heather, and I'm really bad at line dancing. So I don't do that on the promenade. But I do live around the corner in Hayes Valley, and I'm speaking today as an individual and a San Francisco car owner. I don't have a garage. I rely on the streets to get around in my car, and I sit in traffic just like every other car owner in this city. Because Hayes Valley is in the heart of the city, it's no secret that it's completely surrounded by traffic, and sometimes it feels like it's a drive-through neighborhood. But it's so much more than that. It's actually a neighborhood in the heart of our city, and it has a lot of heart to give. And every day, Hayes Valley residents literally live and breathe what cars leave behind. That's why the weekend closure is so vital. It gives our neighborhood and San Francisco the opportunity to exhale. I've been on the promenade a lot over the past year, helping to volunteer when neighbors want to enjoy it. What I've observed is that traffic is replaced by moments of life. The streets get used by people, birds, children, dogs, music, peace, and quiet sometimes. It's a place where San Franciscans can stroll, patter, ride, play, dance, photograph, and connect. The street becomes vibrant, and that vibrancy is not new. It's a revival, rooted deep in the history of San Francisco and this neighborhood. So please support this renewal. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any other speakers for this item?
Hi, my name is Richard Johnson, and I guess I'm going to be the lone voice of dissent, I guess. But I just want to start off and say welcome to all of you. And I have a long history in the neighborhood. I've lived there for 35 years. I've been a founding part of the HVNA. I've worked with many groups. And the issue that I have here is community and process, which we have been I work with a group called HV Safe, and we have been raising this issue since the get-go. So I want to start with good afternoon. I want to speak directly to the word community because it is being used in a way that does not reflect what is actually happening on Hayes Street. We keep hearing that this closure represents a community, but the people saying that are a very narrow subset, and most of them don't live or operate businesses directly on the affected corridor. In my outreach, I can attest most neighbors want Hayes Street restored. Most businesses want stability, access, and predictability, not a permanent street closure. Meanwhile, the permit holder claims to speak for the community while tearing down flyers, blocking neutral information, and even controlling a community board of all things. Policy-wise, we have a huge problem. There is no functioning pathway to contest or appeal an SFMTA decision because this is happening under the umbrella of temporary, when there is no neutral forum, no due process, and no way for residents or small businesses to appeal or contest decisions. The word community loses its meaning because the people most affected are shut out of the process entirely. We are not short on open space in Hayes Valley, but right now with this closure, we are short on fair process, inclusion, and representation. And this temporary setup has enabled the permit holder to push for shutting down the street permanently at every turn.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Next speaker.
Hello again, Marie Rabiel. Since we're sharing how long we've lived here, multi-gen San Franciscan, I've lived here my whole life. I'm here to stand up for common sense, despite the fact that we all know this is a done deal. This is an anti-car plan and therefore will be approved by SFMTA, I have no doubt. Despite the fact that your job is to promote the flow of people and goods throughout the city, not close down streets, needed streets. We need to push back on bad ideas, regardless of whether a few people who benefit come to advocate for them. Speaking of which, Patricia's Green is a few steps away. Why isn't that being used? Why aren't all of these moments of breathing and joy happening right there? Why does a street need to be closed and Muni need to be rerouted at erratic hours on Friday and on Saturday? If everyone in San Francisco wants their street closed, I'd love it. Close my street so that I can benefit and dance in the street when I want to. We would have a completely unfunctional city. I urge you to reject this request to continue closing Hayes Street on Fridays and Saturdays. The ISCOT hearing confirmed what many residents and merchants have long observed. A temporary closure has turned into a recurring disruption that benefits few while straining public resources and neighborhood trust. The Hayes Street closure is thwarting economic recovery, and there are thousands of photos of this closure. There's a few where there's people, but there's thousands where the street is completely empty. We conducted a poll recently. Over 85% of respondents want it open. City agencies themselves expressed unease. The fire department stated it will be in recess for next year's renewal. The ISCOT chair, Bryant Wu, raised serious questions about enforcement, safety, and sound management. Public testimony reflected growing frustration. Trash, traffic, and noise remain consistent problems. Notably, no Hayes Valley retailer spoke in favor of continuing the closure. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other speakers in the room for this item? I'm seeing none in the room and no accommodation requests.
Thank you. Public comment is now closed. Directors, I just want to make sure we understand what is before us. We are asked if we want to approve what the petitioner has asked for, which is Friday evening, all day Saturday, and all day Sunday. I can discuss the exact hours, or maybe when we go to questions, we can just make sure we understand the hours. What staff is recommending is that we approve the Friday and Saturday only, continuing as it has been. Directors, any questions or comments? Vice Chair Kahina.
Hi, Monica. Oh, there we go. Monica, I just had a clarifying question. We've heard a lot about ISCOT and their recommendation for a 2-day closure versus a 3-day closure. And I also see in the staff report that staff is recommending a 2-day closure versus a 3-day closure. So I just wanted to give you space to talk a little bit about that as we're weighing the various days or the various scenarios for the closure.
Sure. I think the discussion at ISCOT and the staff recommendation to continue, and the supervisor as well, who noted that support for Friday, Saturday, is because we're seeing it as a compromise. Mm-hmm. I think the full another day on Sunday does still require a lot of programming, and while there has been a lot of growth, there's a lot that it requires the community with all the hours of volunteer that you heard about, and a concern around can they program it on Sundays as well if they were to extend to 3 days. So I think the combination of transit impacts and the ability to program on Sundays and the understanding of the concerns, recommending Friday, Saturday again felt like a compromise.
And curious why the compromise didn't go to Saturday, Sunday versus Friday, Saturday.
Sure. We didn't deliberate that at length, honestly, this year. Last year, we were evaluating that more, and I think ultimately heard that the community really valued Friday evenings and would have preferred keeping Friday if there was a compromise. So I think in that evaluation understanding of the preferences last year, we sort of cemented that, and it has worked well this year from what we understand they want to continue having. So we just supported the same. If that has changed, we haven't had that discussion this year, but yeah, again, understood that Fridays was kind of a different population, a different time of day that they wanted to preserve.
And it's been quite overwhelming to see just the amount of volunteers that actually activate the space. I would have street closure events in the Excelsior back in the day when I was doing corridor development work, and it was hard to galvanize volunteers sometimes to do this really involved work of setting up, closing down, and doing all that. And so I just want to appreciate all the volunteers that have gone out every weekend to do this. I know it's truly a labor of love. No one's getting paid, it is a labor of love. And I appreciate everyone taking time out of their day too to come and give public comment. I'm going to reserve my opinions right now until I hear from the rest of my fellow board members, but I appreciate that Supervisor Mahmood is taking time to study this in partnership with planning and taking a deeper dive into what the next steps are for this, because I agree with Director Heminger of last year that coming annually is it's a bit involved for everyone, community members, staff, everyone alike, and so. I am very curious to see what comes out of that study, and it's important that they're evaluating the right project as they're gearing up to evaluate this. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Kahina. Director Felder.
Thank you, Chair Tollef. I will say that I had a very direct experience last Friday, spent a couple of hours in Hayes Valley and on Hayes Street, and walked away really, really impressed. I grew up in San Francisco. I remember the days when that neighborhood was burdened by a freeway, and have seen the transformation. But really, I have to say, for the first time, began to understand the value that I've heard other people talk about that has been created in that neighborhood, and specifically on Hayes Street over the last few years, and largely as a byproduct of these closures. And so for me, that experience was important because it really validated the value that this closure has brought not just to the neighborhood, but as was reflected in many of the comments, to the city. I mean, I found it to be one of the most vital and active sort of urban environments that I've seen in San Francisco in the last decade, and that matters. And so when I look at this, I see it through a lot of different lenses. I'm not, I'm not naive to the reality of the challenges of closing streets and the impacts that can have. I'm certainly sympathetic to the importance of people being able to consistently understand the spaces that they have to navigate by car. But I think this is a small price for us to pay for what is being delivered. And I think we really need to be thinking about that as we make this decision today. So,
thank you, Director Felder. Director Hinsey.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to everyone who came out today, as always, to comment on this issue. We always get a diversity of perspectives on this one, and I do want to commend the permit holder for keeping us up to date. It does seem like the activations are growing in the space, and that's all great. We didn't see it so much today in public comment, but in prior years and in our written correspondence today, we for this item that we've gotten, we do have several letters of opposition, and this has been a hot button issue in the neighborhood, I know. And I think the supervisor's office is taking a good approach here in actually studying the current condition. And I do agree with Vice Chair Kahina that they should be, if they're going to do a study of it, they should be able to study the current condition. So I am inclined, especially with the idea of that the study will be concluded before the end of the permit period, being the hope, I'm inclined to keep the permit as is and keep the ask as is, and then we can decide what to do with it on a going forward after the study is concluded. So that would be my piece.
Thank you, Director Hinsey. Director Henderson.
Actually, Chair, I think I can spare us a little bit because that's exactly what I was thinking. So, thank you.
Very good. Well, I'll jump in and just say that I personally feel that continuing the program as it is the right way to go. I will be eagerly anticipating the results of the study. I think that that's a very important part, and I commend Supervisor Mahmoud and his staff for taking the extra step of collaborating with the planning department and seeking funding through the CTA to have a study so that we can have just more a better understanding of the impacts of this, and it would be my hope that this could come back to us with maybe a clearer understanding of the path forward for an activation of this space that's more in alignment with the amount of time that it is for. I think that it's really great that There's, an 89% activation rate on Saturdays and 40% on Friday. Seems like there's room for improvement there. But I think that the long-term sustainability for this with all volunteer and limited funding is something that needs to be looked at. And so to find ways to support this so that it's more consistently activated and that any compliance issues are addressed in a comprehensive way, I think is really important. And I think studying the current condition is an important way to support whatever is going to happen on a hopefully more permanent basis, in the sense that having this come back annually is not my wish, and certainly not at this time of year when we have typically many items before us that are rushing to get through before the calendar year. That's just a practical concern on the board side, but I wanted to put that out there, that is something that I'm concerned about. So other comments, colleagues? Director Chen.
Legally, is it possible to actually change the permit expiration date from November to a better date for the board?
Do you want to take it? Yes, we. Thank you for that question, Director Chen. We did consult counsel on the matter, and yes, we can. The board can permit a closure for longer than a year, 2 years, 5 years, as defined for the code. In the code as a long-term roadway closure, we would have to agendize it differently, so it couldn't be something that's done this evening, because what was heard was for 1 year. But the board, and I would love counsel to elaborate, but that is knowledge that they provided us to that question.
Right, thank you. And with the chair's remarks, maybe it makes sense to find an expiration date that makes sense, especially with the study that might be coming out there. Assuming that it comes out in August, right, then there'll be some time for staff then to make a proposal, and then, right, and assuming at the end of the year, next year will also be busy, then perhaps staff could propose a more convenient date. But that's for a future agenda.
Sorry. Yeah, Ms. Moonwich accurately stated our advice, and it's also possible for the board to extend the roadway closure for a longer period of time, and for the permit to be more of an annual permit that staff can handle internally. Excuse me.
So we can explore that for the future. All right. Are we ready for Director Kahina? Vice Chair Kahina.
Sorry, I just wanted to add to that, Monica, if once the study is being conducted, if that could be one of the considerations that you work with Supervisor Mahmood's office and the planning department to embed, just trying to explore the strategy of how do we operationalize this internally and legislate this in a way that is not so involved for our community and also for the board. That would be great.
So I think that's a piece of direction
Understood.
for staff. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair.
All right. Are we ready to make a motion and a second? And again, I just want to remind us that approval as agendized would be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, which is not what the staff is recommending.
Did Director Hinsey make a motion? No.
Not formally, but I was going to. I'll move to approve the staff recommendation.
Second.
Very good. Secretary Silva, please call the roll.
On the motion to approve the staff recommendation, Director Chen.
Aye.
Chen, aye. Director Felder.
Aye.
Felder, aye. Director Heminger.
Aye.
Heminger, aye. Director Henderson.
Aye.
Henderson, aye. Director Hinsey.
Aye.
Hensy, aye. Director Kahina.
Aye.
Kahina, aye. Chair Tarlov.
Aye.
Tarlov, aye. Thank you. That item is approved.
Thank you.
Excuse me for just one moment. I just noticed that the resolution does not include the hours, so I just wanted to make it clear that it was amended orally before you voted by Director Hensy for the staff recommendation hours of Friday and Saturday. At least
Yes.
the version that I'm looking
Yes.
at. Okay,
Yep.
thank you, and that was the vote.
Yep.
The secretary will amend the resolution to match that. Thank you.
Thank you. Secretary Silva, please call the next item.
Directors, that places you on item number 15, discussion and vote pursuant to Admin Code Section 67.10D as to whether to invoke the attorney-client privilege and conduct a closed session conference with legal counsel.
Colleagues, may I have a motion and a second to go to close? Oh, public comment. Sorry. I will open public comment for 2 minutes each on